Hey guys, it's Biggs and Paisley. Today we're gonna do some fun stuff. What are we gonna do today, Paisley?
I don't know.
You don't know? We got a whole box full of ground pick crab apples. Got lots of them. So what are we gonna do with the apples?
Feed them to the pigs.
Give them all treats?
Mm-hmm.
This should be fun. Let's go give some treats to the animals. So this is the temporary barricade that we had to make to contain all the animals, honestly, just while we're in the middle of doing all the building. So all the new fencing, you can see all the posts going up, there's some new gates going up. There's a lot of stuff that's happening right now. And but right now with this temporary thing, it controls all the animals and it keeps everybody back. So there's the turkeys. There's Hamlet and Harriet. There's Luna. Percy, the black one, and Gilbert is going to be orange with a white belly. This is just a very, very temporary thing. And then you see the goat fence has gone down. So that fence line, the last fence line, this whole thing will come down. The last fence line goes out and goes all the way out past the shed, almost to the tree line. Comes all the way back over there. It's bisected, so the other shed, the shed on the right-hand side there, the one with the wood leaning up against it, that is going to be for the boars enclosure. So we've got some of the stuff taken care of already. We've started mounting the gates. We've got the H-frames built. We're ready for wire, and that's going to happen in about a week or so after I get back from a work trip. But we bought 4 of these big heavy-duty gates. They're all spaced. They're 10-foot gates, so they're spaced apart. This will be the security gate that we're going to come in. That once we come in the morning, we'll close it behind us. Over here to my left, this is the gate that's going to take us into the pig cow enclosure. There's one directly across from it, but in front of me, that's going to be for the boar enclosure. And then there's going to be one over here in this space at the end, and that's going to take us into the next section. And the next section eventually will be bisected as well, so that the boars have 2 fields, and the cows and the female pigs have 2 fields. But we can, me or my wife can come out here, if we're even by ourselves, we can open one gate and we can safely and securely move some of these animals from enclosure to enclosure. Okay, one thing that's really, really important that we did not do on all our builds before, but we definitely did on this one, is we used 8-foot, really, really heavy posts. Because we're dealing with a large animal like Chewy, we're dealing with heavier posts. The cooney pigs may not need the heavy posts, but definitely the cows do. So we put the big heavy posts. They're going to support these gates. They're about 200 pounds a piece. And they're nice. But the one thing that we also did is we made sure that we installed H-frames on every single one of the gates, especially on the side that's going to support the weight of the gate. This gate swings freely all the way. It hasn't been greased, but it swings freely all the way without losing any of the distance on the bottom. That's really, really important for long-term success. Now the H-frame is basically, it's a very easy item to do. Now it's a super simple thing, but it gives you a lot more structure. You do these on all your gates, but you also do them on all your corners or any T's where you're going to bisect a field. And that way you're taking all the strain off of the main post, which is going to carry all the weight, and you're dividing it and using a secondary post to store it, and you're going to square it off. So all you have to do to build an H-frame, you have your heavy post in place wherever it may be on your corners or for your gates. You just need to put a secondary post. It doesn't have to be a heavy post. A secondary post within the distance of one of your posts. Now these posts that I'm using, these are 4 to 5s. This is an 8 to 10, but these 4 to 5s, they're all 7-footers. So once I cut off the pencil tip, the pointy tip, as long as I've got my post, my secondary post, within that 7-foot, I'm good to go. You don't have to measure it. Now one thing you'll notice here in different videos is here, I don't have the option of putting a post where I want to put it half the time, because our ground is actually really above a quarry. There's a quarry about a mile that way, and the ground when we want to put a post in will often say nope, and we move it over, and we move it over, and we move it over, and we have to adjust constantly to find a spot that works. So some of our fences are not in perfect lines, and we're just going to have to deal with it. Now the H-frame is very easy, as I say. All you're going to do is you're going to tack it in here. It's got about a 6-inch spike on both sides. Theoretically, it's only one, so you probably could rotate it. Doesn't matter. It's just pulling the top together. Then the second thing you're going to do is on the bottom side of the inside of it, you're going to tack in, I use barbed wire staples, or you could use a nail or something that will just, you can wrap wire around. On the other side, I leave the spike out about 2 inches, and then I just wrap, and this wire is high tensile wire. It's the same type of wire we're going to use for the cattle It's the same type of wire that you could use for carrying your electrical current. And all I do is I basically tie it at the top, wrap it around itself, and then I wrap it around that whole thing 3 to 5 times. So here we did our first little wrap of strand. We basically wrapped the first wire around, we wrapped it upon itself. We went around top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom. We did it, I believe, we did 3 or 4 times on each one. And then I used just a single piece of rebar. I can buy a 20-foot length of rebar really, really cheaply at my local hardware store, and I can cut it down into like little usable 10 to a foot-inch pieces. I cut them down, and then I use that rebar, and I just basically roll it over itself, and it wraps this whole thing and makes it real nice and tight. And that pulls the bottom square with the top, and the top is square by itself. This thing ain't moving whatsoever. And the only thing, because this is it's like a coiled spring, after I've got it nice and tight, I tack it in place with a piece of one of the barbed wire staples as well, so it's never going to move out. I do one extra thing that's not really necessary, I guess, on the farm side, but because we're city people and we've moved to the country, we wanted to do something, one extra little step that protects our animals, which are our pets, but also our dogs and our kids. We're going to show you that next. This is the last step. Seems kind of silly, but this is honestly just a reclaimed golf ball. My father-in-law, he's a hardcore avid golfer, and he's always finding balls. He's always got Safeway bags or garbage bags full of balls. So I said, hey, you got a bunch of extra golf balls? He brought them down. I drill a 1/2 inch because it's 1/2 inch rebar. I drill a small 1/2 inch hole in the golf ball. I put it over the tip, and I just put a little dab of epoxy or outdoor silicone or something like that. But it's also something that makes it nice and safe for my dogs and my kids and my livestock. Yeah, so we got our bucket full of apples, and we're going to give these treats to these guys. Now, you guys have known before, and I've talked about it before, the Kune pigs, their main diet is strictly grass. So you see that there's no long grass anywhere out there. Them and the cows have cleaned it all up, and it's nice and short, and they maintain the fields, which is part of the reason that we want to get the other field going right away, so there's more options, and we can then rotate and let this one grow back. So, but feeding them apples are a great source of vitamins and such. But they're also a great source of fiber as well. So it's a nice healthy treat for these guys. So let's have some fun. Ready, Paisley? All right, let's go. Gonna give them some apples. You're just gonna chuck them at them? Give them to the pigs. Hey, Chewy, Bella, come on. Come on, guys. Come get some apples. Pigs want them. Some of them are kind of gross and mushy, eh? Well, we want to get Chewy. We want Chewy to come right here. We want Chewy and Bella to come so we can put them right in their mouth. That'd be more fun. There, Hamlet's getting one. Percy's getting one. You got one there, Harriet? Is it good? Hamlet's got some. Where's yours, Gilbert? That one's for Gilbert? That one? Okay. Gilbert, this one's for you. Throw it over. Throw it past Hamlet. And that way Gilbert will see it. Oh, that hit her butt. That hit Harriet's butt. Is Gilbert getting some? Gilbert's got one. Good boy. He's going to run away. He's like Gus. He gets his treat and then he runs and hides. Got one, Percy?
Dad, you can never do all of this. I can do it. Dad, Gilbert got one. Elliot.
You have a feather on your nose, Harriet.
That's a bomb.
Now, another thing the coons are known for is they're often called orchard pigs. They're often used as cleanup in apple orchards, different types of orchards and stuff like that. So, they're pretty aggressive when they're food driven. Hi, Hamlet. 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 Hi, Chewy. the ground picks are something that normally just be left on the ground, cause a wasp problem in your yard. It's going to be a waste product. But for these guys, it's a great source of vitamins and minerals. Chewy. Chewy's pretty aggressive when it comes to food. He always wants the most. Right? Yeah. See? He has eyes. Right? Bring me some apples.
You better.
Chewy.
You better.
There, Chewy. Here you go. Yeah, that's a good boy. That's okay. Here you go, baby girl. You want them too, Chewy?